Robots made out of biological material are biodegradable. Well, I guess it's so brilliant it almost bothers me. If you've been here a little while, you know that I love to talk about biohybrids, that is, robotics that have lab-grown biological materials, usually human, as part of them. Now, a lot of what makes a robot can be manufactured using human tissue. You can grow muscle fibers. They are evolved to do a job that a robot also needs to do. You can grow tendons and ligaments to support those muscle fibers, and you can assemble them into a robot, however, they usually need to have electrical components in them. This works because our muscles do work with electricity. It's complicated, but your neurons do make electrical impulses. That's why if you get that treatment where you have electrical pulses on your muscles, it causes them to contract. That's a little quadrupedal walking robot. I think it's kind of cute. Now, the electrical components are generally not biodegradable, but the rest of the robot is, and that can be really useful if you don't need them to live all that long, and that's true of a lot of nanobots. Now, biohybrids do not just have to come from human tissue. They've made them with insects, in which they hijack the insect's nervous system. They can be made with jellyfish, which kind of bums me out. Jellyfish, while not having a brain, their entire body kind of acts like a brain, and they show intelligence. Some jellyfish are able to map their surroundings using trees above the water to navigate. So, taking their nervous system and turning them into a directed robot just makes me sad. Again, people have done the same thing with birds, and we know birds are plenty smart. I would love to tell you guys more about pigeons, and I could probably talk about them all day, but that is not the point. The point is that there has been this explosion of biohybrid robotic technology, and a lot of that is that we figured out how to use stem cells effectively. Clones are no longer the same age as their parents, which means that tissues can be healthy. Also, I really can't show you the rest of the pictures from this article. You can look at them yourself, but I don't think this app is going to let me. It's a slug made from human muscle tissue, and it can ambulate, meaning walk around. Now, of course, there is a major issue when it comes to this kind of robotics, and that's that you have to keep it alive. Humans and other animals clearly have a heart and a brain and whole systems designed to maintain homeostasis, but if you're just making a robot, you then have to take care of it. You need to give it a way to eat. You need to give it an immune system. You need to keep it warm. We function best at a specific temperature. And that introduces a lot of complications, but it's not really the worst thing in the world if you only need to keep it alive for a little while. You may want robots that are capable of bioremediation, so cleaning up the environment. You may want to have them involved in surgery, so they can just degrade and be absorbed by what's around them. Funny enough, this may not even be the biggest issue any longer because microbes are evolving to be able to consume plastic for energy. And of course, if you really want to, you can give them a miniature human brain. Yes, the brain organoids are tiny versions of human brains that are grown from stem cells, and they can do all sorts of things. They can operate a body, they can learn to play video games. And while they're not as intelligent as a human, because you kind of need the whole context of the body and childhood and functional development, we are making them better. You can assemble them like Legos. You can connect them by growing them axons, so the connection between neurons can also connect brain organoids, and they get smarter when they're working together. Nobody's really taken that to its logical conclusion. I'm interested. Also, the viability issue, so them suffering from hypoxia and expiring after about 3 months, is no longer an issue. Someone kept them alive for 5 years. The media that they were in was just not conductive enough. Their neurons were not able to properly fire or communicate with each other. So the organoids kind of just gave up after a while. I am really interested to see where these guys go. It's a little bit of a morbid fascination. Anyway, I just never really thought about biological robots as being biodegradable, and it makes a lot of sense. It's very elegant. Still, these are not things that you personally will probably ever use, so you're not going to have to feed your computer antibiotics and a glucose drip. Unless that's something you're really interested in, and I kind of am. Thank you for trusting me with your unsettling news. Follow for more.